And so essentially you can just move the energy really gently from your lower centers to your higher centers. And so, I mean, the way that I outlined it in this thread is like you'll exhale completely, focusing on your root chakra, and then inhale super slow, like a 10 count to um, your head essentially, and focus on your pineal center or your crown, and the energy will actually move. You'll feel it move, and it's like a pressure almost. It'll move to your head, and then what you want to do ideally is like move it back down to store it within your abdomen. They call it the cauldron
Okay.
in Taoism, and that's where you can store a lot of that energy. Because you don't necessarily want to leave it in your head. Um, it can be like dangerous, but uh, but yeah, it's a really gentle technique just to like move some energy in the body. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like yoga and working out is
Mm.
obviously like another way to get excess energy out of the body. What I found is like I used to struggle with having not enough energy, right?
Okay.
I was in like high school, and now I have like too much energy. So I
Yeah.
have to like learn how to channel it into productive things like working out, meditating, working, etc., and not like destructive things.
Mhm.
So yeah, energy control, life force control is very important to learn, I think. But you're 17, dude. You're gonna be a master, bro.
Yeah, I've heard about this book, I think over 30 times now, and I haven't bought the book, so I quickly searched it because I think this was the final get that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I have a
yeah.
PDF. I have a I have a PDF if you want it.
Okay. Perfect.
I remember when I read this book, I was like fascinated by it, and I finished it in like 2 or 3 days. It was like
Wow.
one of those for me at least.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's really esoteric shit. Like they
Mm-hmm.
used to only teach this to like kings and emperors because the energy is so strong that when you harness it, you can really use it for good,
Mm-hmm.
um, or evil, of course. But but yeah, it's a really powerful energy.
So that book was your introduction into this topic of kind of being able to move that energy, right?
Um, I actually read The Way of the Superior Man
Mm.
before, David Data,
Mm-hmm.
which was like a good intro into it. And then after that, I read Taoist Secrets.
Okay.
I think like every single man should read these two books because they are so
Mm-hmm.
good. Um, and I would probably read them in that order, to be honest, because a lot of the stuff that David touches on is applicable in Taoist Secrets and vice versa. But it's more of like a primer, I would say. It's less technical and more like theoretical. But
Mm-hmm.
Taoist Secrets is like it's like a manual.
Mm-hmm. Mm. I'm gonna check them out. I've heard about these two books more than 1,000 times. Yeah.
Yeah, read these two books and you're gonna be in, like doing really well, bro.
Jack, what do you value most out of yourself?
um, I I think it sounds like corny, but just like giving it my all, giving it 100%. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like whenever I'm leaving potential on the table, I like can't live with myself. I feel like shit. Um, but when I'm like living on the edge, I'm like working at like my max capacity. I feel so much more alive. Um, and so I think finding ways to hone your edge.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's sort of what I've been valuing most recently. Um, and yeah, I think at least because we're so young, like taking risks and learning. Um, but I think really, like, I mean, the thing that I've always valued the most is like freedom.
Mm,
And that's something that, there's different types, of course. There's like the freedom to go wherever you want, the freedom to do whatever you want.
mhm.
But there's also freedom from mind, freedom from your desires, um, which I think is honestly a more challenging thing to pursue
Okay.
than anything in the world, essentially. Like conquering your lust, for example, is one of the hardest things you could try to do.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think, like, um, that pursuit of self mastery, I think, and freedom in that sense, um, I think that's what's most interesting to me, at least. What I
Love
value.
that. And I think this last question might relate to that answer. But what brings you most joy in life?
Oh man, probably just having like a good conversation with my brother, my friends, just
Mhm.
hanging out, going on a nice long walk by myself, and making art, writing poetry, building things. Building things is so fun, dude. Uh, and good music, of course, good music. I couldn't live without it. Um, yeah, yeah, I think that's what's the most fun for me.
Love it. Jack, thank you for sharing. Thank you for your time. And thank you for this conversation. That was really cool. Really cool.
Of course, much love, many blessings.
Thank you. You too.